Getting the money is how you get rich in real estate. You can't do the deal without the money. So I'm going to show you right here, right now, how to get capital for real estate investing. Here we go. All right, welcome back. So I'm going to show you where exactly to find money for real estate, whether it's a multifamily deal or a house you want to fix and flip. I'm also going to talk to you about what your lenders are going to be looking for, whether they're private money or institutional lenders, and what you need to have ready to go. And lastly, I'm going to show you where I get my money and how I get it, and why I use maybe a little bit higher interest rate than you would anticipate in order to make money. So here we go. You're already a winner, so let me show you how to get the money and win even more. So the first step is determining what you need the money for. Are you looking to fix up a distressed property? Maybe it's a multifamily, or it may be a house. That's going to be one lender. Or are you looking to refi and cash out to get your cash back? That may be a different lender. So I'm going to talk about both right now. First, private money loans are usually somewhere between 6 and 12% on average right now, around 6 to 8. Many times they're interest only. So even if you got a 4 or 5% loan, your interest only loan is almost the same payment. You would get a loan like that because you want to get the property closed, you want to get the money quickly, you want the least amount of documentation, and you're basically borrowing against the equity in the property, or the ARV, which means after repaired value. Typically, private money guys will give you money not only to buy the property, to fix it up. You could sometimes get as high as 90% loan to value on the property when you buy it, along with up to 75 or 80% of the repaired value when you're done. So where do you find these guys? The typical place to find these gals and guys who lend private money is online in your area. There's lots of lender solutions online. They all advertise. And typically what I do is I would call them and ask them, how many points do you charge? What is your interest rate? What are your qualities that you need in terms of the property and in terms of the borrower? Okay, they're going to want to know a little bit about your track record, a little bit about what they're lending on, what it is, and then your plan of action. I'm going to buy this property that's boarded up, I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to turn it around. Or I'm going to buy this property and I'm going to fix it and rent it. Okay, different deal, different situation. Just let them know what you're going to do. The next place I go for money after I fix something up may be to a bank or an institutional lender who will now lend me the money to pay off the higher interest rate private money loan and give me a low interest rate because I'm going to carry the property. In that scenario, and typically those rates are your typical commercial rates, Fannie, Freddie, you could check with your mortgage broker or their lender, your lender, but sometimes Fannie, Freddie may be as low as 2.5% to 3.5% right now. Or you may be able to get an institutional lender. I just did a deal at 3.4%, interest only for 2 years, and then 5 years fixed. So it depends on what you need. Mine was a cash out. Whatever you need, you can go to institutional lender for that fixed up property, or you can go to get a property you're going to renovate. A private money is usually the quickest and the easiest. Okay, another place to get money for real estate investing is from private groups. And this is where you put together a real estate club and you raise capital. Okay, there's different models on how to raise capital, but one of the typical models for raising capital is where you as an investor take a piece of the equity and the investors take a piece of the equity, and you work that out between yourselves. So as an example, let's say there's 3 investors. One of you finds the deals and manages it and works on it, and the other investors go ahead and fund the deal, okay? Or maybe you all put a little bit of money in, they may put more. It's all, of course, in flex depending upon what you're doing and what your agreement is between your other investors. Another way to do that is to where people just borrow the money. So you would borrow from the money from the investors and give them a rate of return, and they would get no equity at all. I've done both, Most commonly, I do not give any equity. I just borrow the money privately if needed and pay an interest rate 6, 7, 8%. The nice thing about private individuals lending to you is typically they're not charging you points, where a lender will, because that's their business, how they make money, they have overhead, etc. Another place to get money for real estate investing is from the government. The government has several programs that will help you get started in real estate, and the Federal Housing Authority and a loan broker who specializes in that can help you with that. Fannie Freddie loans are basically, and what I mean by Fannie Freddie is these are government agencies that back loans, but there's also commercial mortgage-backed securities, which are called CMBS loans. Those loans are also available to you to refinance property. Usually the loans are a little bit higher, $1 million or more. And then as well, there's also FHA loans that are designed to fix things up. They're basically designed to give you the money to purchase as well as the money to repair and capitalize the property. The reason for that, the reason the government does that, is because they want to encourage housing. They want to encourage housing stock that is in good repair, that's fixed up, so they're willing to lend money at low interest rates in order to do that. Another program is the Small Business Administration. They will also potentially lend you money, and all of them have criteria: credit, cash, etc. But don't think because you have credit that's no good that you can't borrow money, because maybe you won't be able to borrow money from one loan or one scenario, but you will be able to borrow from another scenario, okay? All I can tell you is that money is the key to investing in real estate. How to get the money, how to structure the deal. And, the reason that I was able to be successful as I was is because I used a variety of different lenders who specialize in certain things. I was talking to a lender yesterday who specializes in multifamily property, right? Apartment buildings. That's all they really do. Where another lender I talked to today, they specialize in private money, and they'll do, commercial office. I'm looking at a $3.5 million deal tomorrow. They'll lend on multifamily, they'll lend on fix and flip, they'll lend on fix and hold. Depending on what your scenario is, they may push you to this loan or that loan. So on a fix and flip, I may get a 12-month loan with the ability to do a 6-month extension. But on another type of deal, like this deal I'm doing in Colorado, which is 60 units, for that one I'm going to get a 2-year loan because it's in the high country, there's snow, and I need to go ahead and refinance that property after about 2 years because I got to do some repairs on it. Does that make sense? So depending on what you're doing and what you're buying, it's going to depend on where you go to get the money. But know that there's lots of money out there for you to get and lots of programs. This is why you'll hear a lot of us that teach real estate talk about going to a bank or going to a mortgage broker. The banks will have a limited supply of loans for different scenarios. And you can just call them and ask them, say, this is what I want to do. Do you lend on that? And they'll say yes or no. Where a mortgage broker, they usually have a lot of different sources, and they could send your package out to different people and see what they can get you in terms of a pricing and in terms of a loan that fits your needs. So at the end of the day, the fact that you're curious and you're on here and you're learning just shows that you are a winner, and you're probably a lot more successful than you think you're going to be, because you just, haven't really seen yet or maybe got involved yet in all the different possibilities that are out there. When I look at a deal, every time, the first thing I think about is, how can I fund this deal? How can I finance this deal if the deal makes sense? If I don't have any way to finance it, I don't look at it. Okay, that's me. Now other people, they may get the property in contract and sell it to somebody who can finance it or a cash buyer. But for me, I'm looking for deals that I can finance, that I can fix, that I can keep. Because remember, when you get this money, you got to pay it back. So you want to make sure that you put together a plan of action that makes sense to the bank, that you're going to be able to follow through with, and that you have the money to do. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about on this is make sure in your budget, when you get money, that you have contingencies for things you don't expect. Most of the lenders will allow you 10% of your budget for contingencies. So if you got a $40,000 repair budget, they'll give you an extra $4,000 for contingencies, okay? So make sure you put that in your budget. I'm Paul Maguire. Join me on the next video where I talk about 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, real monopoly, and how you can move from a house, 2, 3, or 4 into an apartment building. The game of real estate is about freedom, my friends. It's about freedom. It's about making money, to have freedom, to get out of what some call the rat race, because, you know, it's been said that the problem with the rat race is even if you win, you're still a rat, right? So most of people want freedom. And freedom comes from cash flow. And cash flow, in my opinion, the best way to get that is investment real estate, where you have people paying you money on a regular basis in order for you to be able to enjoy your life and your lifestyle. And typically what we find is that when you can get the money, you'll figure out the deal, okay? But you got to get the money. And getting the money means you got to look, you got to do some research, you got to ask questions, you got to talk to people, and you got to not give up, okay? I had a deal in Oroville, California that I was buying, and I couldn't find anybody to finance it for 3 weeks. And finally, this realtor said, why don't you try this group here? And I called them and they looked at the deal. They said, yeah, we'll do the deal. They gave me a 4-year loan, 8% interest only. It's $5,200 a month. The property potentially brings in $4,500 a month. Okay, I was buying it for 60 units for $1.2 million. So I couldn't find the money. And then I found the money, right, to make it work. All right, so I'll see you soon. Hang in there. Things are going to get better for you. Just keep learning, keep trying. Follow me, like, subscribe, so that I can help you to make money, play in this game, and potentially become very successful in real estate and in creating cash flow and in creating freedom in your life. See you later.